So I'm going to try to show you what I do in Simplify 3D. So I've got a couple of files that I downloaded already. I'm going to double click on this one, and because I'm on my machine, as soon as I double click on it, the Simplify 3D window will open like this. This only works on my computer, right? Because this is where the software is. Usually when you open it up, it'll show you so right now, if I take away the visibility on EggMonster, you can only see the twist face. And if I take away the visibility on twist face, you can only see EggMonster. If you play around with both of these still in here, you're going to have some trouble. So I'm going to delete the one. What happened was I went to open the EggMonster, and because I had been messing around before, or because a classmate might have been working with it before, it showed up the wrong, it showed up the thing that was on there before. So first thing I need to do is get rid of that. Next, I can do some checks to see if this is what I want. So first of all, over here on the side, follow my mouse, over here on the side, I can adjust the size manually, just a rough idea of how big it is. The box is basically the print available area, so like what our printer can handle. So if you go like that, our printer just can't get there. Like it doesn't go that high. So we know we want to start a bit smaller. But you might want to know actually what that is. So I'm going to double click and get myself out of the way. So what you can see here is the change in the scaling. So that's the first one I'm going to play with. Let's see what happens if we make this a bit taller. Or a bit wider. I can, actually, sorry, this one's taller, this one's wider, depending which way we're going. The Z is height, I believe. So I can change it, just by adjusting those. So if you want to grab a ruler, make sure it's a ruler that has millimeters or centimeters. Remember that 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. You can decide, you know what, I want this to be 10 centimeters wide. And so then you can go over here to let's see if I'm right, to this size. And that is, so I set it at 100 on the X. And so that's one of these directions. I always forget which one's which. The shorter one. One of these directions is 10, and so that means the height is going to be 155, which is 15 and a half millimeters. So it's going to be about that high. So you can get a sense of how tall this is. Now, I have another problem here, and I'm going to shift my view to this sideways. I added these shapes on the bottom, knowing that I can make, I can make this work. So right now, if I try to print that tail is absolutely going to fall apart because the printer it just prints on one level. So it's going to print, and it's going up at an angle to get to here. And then once it gets to this level, it's going to print this out, but there's nothing underneath it. Now, you can kind of fake it. You can squeeze a bit of clay under there like as it's printing, but that's kind of chaotic. And what I actually planned to do was change the offset here. So I am going to change the Z offset to negative. Let's see what happens at 5. See how that dropped down? And now that tail is sitting right about on that bottom level. If I'm worried about it, I could take it down a tiny bit more. It's going to cut off, it's not going to print this stuff under the bottom line. It's just going to start here. And so that's just a quick way in Simplified 3D to, adjust it so it's printable. If you screw up, you can reset the position, and you can move it side to side, but this is not really all as important. Actually, there's another way to move it side to side that I can show you as well. I think that's this one here, and you can just move that side to side that way. All right, back to these. I forgot to mention, you can also take off uniform scaling, and that way, if I change the x-axis, is he gonna get wider? He's gonna get wider. But not longer or taller. So I can change my proportions of my dude. And because he's not in the middle and that's just going to annoy me, I'm putting him back to the middle. All right. So those are my adjustments that I've made to my guy. I think he's ready to print. I'm not sure. And here's where we're going to check. We're going to make sure the thing I'm worried about is whether this angle is too steep. So let's find out. I'm going to go first. I've got 2 process settings. And all you really need to know is that the top one is hollow. The process 1 is right now set at hollow and process 2 is set at solid. We want to do hollow, so I'm just going to do that over in this, I'm just going to select that, and then I'm going to go here to prepare to print. So it says, do you really want to do process 1? Yes, I do. So I hit OK, which is behind my head. There we go. Okay, and now this is showing what's going to print. And so I'm turning this all around to look for any potential problems. This is going to turn that solid print, that solid, Tinkercad thing, STL file, into a hollow form that's going to print. Now, if I look at the very top, you can see I'm going to run into problems right at the top of the head. The printer can't handle printing at a horizontal. It can handle going up, and it can go up at a bit of an angle, but it just can't handle, going straight across like that. So when I get to the top of that print, I've just got to stop the printer because it's not going to be able to hold itself up. But it looks like my bottom of my mouth is going to be okay. My tail looks all right, I think. My tail may be a tiny bit high. Notice that the skirt, that's this extra kind of planning line, isn't around the tail. So it's probably going to mush into the tail's going to start and kind of be at that same place. I might need to drop this down to just a touch, or I might be able to get away with this. So I'm going to call it good. And so I'm going to go over here and save my toolpaths to disk. I'm going to make this something I can find easily. I don't have a lot of text available, so I'm going to spell monster better, but I'm going to write EggMonster and just call it G-code. I'm putting this onto this USB drive that I have in here with, you can see, a bunch of other people's stuff, and I may delete some of that before you get to it. Save. And now this drive that I take out of, I've got my little drive attached here. I can pull this drive out or eject it, and then I can take it to the printer, and I'm ready to go. Hope you found that useful.